Bucharest,
Milano,
Bruxelles, Berlin,
Lisboa,
Sofia.
Hi there, I'm Hermine, welcome back. Euranet Plus is made up of 15 broadcasters working hard to inform EU citizens about European affairs in 14 of the bloc's official languages. So jumping from one language to another is just part of our daily routine, even as we strive to make their content more universally accessible through English. But this raises a key question. What are the chances of all of these languages surviving globalization, digitisation, and the rise of artificial intelligence, given the predominance of English? Our need to communicate is in our genes. Even thousands of years ago, people were trying to find common languages, not just for trade, but also to spread their religions and their ideas. These days, thanks to the IT revolution, we can all connect with like-minded people all over the world, and we're still coming up with new ways to communicate with each other. As we all know, English is the most popular language in the world. Approximately 1.5 billion people are learning it. That's 1 in 7 of the world's population. These days, it's hard to find a young person in Europe who doesn't know at least a few basic phrases, which help with playing online games, watching foreign movies, traveling, and conducting business. But there's a difference between having a working knowledge of a language and really mastering its fluency. A lot of people think they're pretty good at English, but they're actually not. For example, in countries where English isn't an official language, 67% of employers say there's a skills gap between the English language skills they need and the ones that are actually available, according to Cambridge University Press. But while we borrow more and more English words and incorporate them into other languages, a lot of people are worried about losing our linguistic diversity. Georgios Xidopoulos from the University of Patras has examined this concern.
The
flow of foreign words into a language is not something we can control. It is not like some decision maker can make a call on this somewhere. It's not even like we can all sit down and say, nah, no more loan words, foreign words. This is a process, a mechanism that renews the system itself and affects all the languages in the world. They constantly borrow vocabulary, among other things, from foreign languages with which they are in contact, ones with more weight than the language they're putting these words into. It's the same in Greek. If you take a look at the vocabulary we borrow, you'll see which subject areas it relates to. It's about social media, fashion, lifestyle, food, and everyday life in general.
So how much should we worry about preserving language? Does the social media generation need to be fluent in the same vocabulary that appears in the works of Homer, Cervantes, Goethe, or Montesquieu? Xidopoulos says, don't let it be a source of stress.
Wherever we go, we hear English, everywhere. But that's not too bad. We shouldn't condemn it, we should exonerate it. First of all, as soon as you say a word, in Greek, it's merged. That's according to your Greek pronunciation. It automatically becomes Greek, because it's not pronounced the same way by an American or British speaker. You see what I mean? It's pronounced in a Greek way with a Greek accent.
That's right. When we adopt a foreign word, we adapt it to fit the sounds and grammar of our language, making it our own. That's not language flattening, that's language evolving. These so-called loan words reveal how we are connected to other cultures and the wider world, which is something Europeans have always done, going way back to the Greek and Latin times. And we still have so many different languages today. I mean, this shows that this process has been around for ages, right? Well, as they say, the proof is in the pudding, since the word pudding probably comes from boudin or pouding, which is a word borrowed from French and derived from Latin. Social media has become a huge part of our lives, and this has led to language changing really quickly. So-called text speak is full of English words and is all about speed and efficiency. That's according to Professor Peter Fessler, who's an expert at the University of Paderborn.
Man fasst sich kürzer, man formuliert salopper, Rechtschreibung, Orthographie.
People are becoming more concise and using more colloquial language. Spelling and orthography are secondary. We also see the frequent combination of text and images. I am thinking of emojis, for example. Hardly any WhatsApp messages are sent without emojis. Then there are all the memes, reels, abbreviations, some of which are almost a secret language in themselves. That's fundamental. And one last point. Language has always been subject to generational change, and now that change is happening much faster and with a much greater impact.
However, Sarah Müller, a linguist from the Center for the Luxembourgish Language, says that it is simply changing the way young people write in fascinating ways.
Leute benutzen eben Aufkürzungen online, weil sie dadurch sich mehr ausdrücken können.
People use abbreviations online to express themselves more quickly. However, they only do so in contexts where this is relevant, and they can express themselves differently in other contexts. If they are not appropriate for the context, they do not use them. There have been studies about how online writing affects young people's more formal writing. The results are a bit all over the place. While young people do shorten a lot of words online and really adapt their writing to online standards, this can actually have a positive impact on how they write in more formal contexts, as it just shows that they have a better command of the language and are very aware of these contexts and their differences.
She adds that, rather than being seen as a threat to a language, the use of emojis should be considered a form of para-language, meaning something that complements language, as it fills in the facial expressions and gestures that humans use in face-to-face situations.
These things are complementary. They allow us to express our emotions a little bit, in a different way. It's much more multimodal, because we really have visual elements here. We can also amplify the ideas we want to convey a little more. And in that sense, this is really quite exciting, because it shows how creative and playful we can be with language.
It's true that lots of national languages are running out of words for new concepts, but studies also show that the digital world, with its ability to transcend time, space, and identity, has the potential to preserve local and indigenous languages, and even to rejuvenate and promote them. Cristina Gomez, a linguist at the University of León in Spain, agrees.
The
way we're all connected through globalisation and the digital world these days can actually help out those languages that are perhaps a little more minority. And I think it's a positive development that the younger people, in particular, who use these social networks so much to communicate, are giving these languages visibility. Languages like Basque or Gaelic in Ireland are becoming better known to the rest of the world. I think this is great, because it allows something that was previously limited to a particular geographical region, where that language is spoken, to reach many more places and become known.
But well, that doesn't mean we can keep all minority languages. There are many reasons why a language disappears. Parents may choose to use the national lingua franca, or a more widely spoken language when raising their children, instead of their native tongue. The European Union has always had, at its heart, a desire to preserve multilingual diversity. Here's Juliana Lasky, who teaches the history of European integration at Bologna University.
Da sempre, fino dall'inizio, il processo di integrazione ha fatto proprio il diritto dei cittadini della comunità.
The process of integration into the Union has always recognised the right of citizens of the European community, and later the EU, to speak and protect their mother tongue, even if it is a minority language. There is no contradiction in this, as European integration has never aimed at homogenization, especially not on a cultural level. Language, in fact, is the primary means of expression for every citizen, and as such, must be safeguarded.
Furthermore, Europeans are extremely open to learning languages. In 2023, 80% of them believe that everyone should speak at least one language other than their mother tongue, and 69% supported the idea that everyone should even speak even more languages than this. That's according to a Eurobarometer survey. The EU funds projects to support cultural and linguistic diversity, and in the European Parliament, MEPs speak all 24 EU languages. They interpret everything, and they translate all the official text into all of those languages. Indeed, the European Parliament is a great example of how different languages can coexist in one place. Romanian MEP Claudiu Tarțiu, from the European Assembly's Conservatives group, explained how it works in practice.
We use every opportunity to speak in our national language, whether we are at the rostrum of Parliament or in a parliamentary working committee. English is usually spoken in the corridors, so to speak, and sometimes in meetings with foreign delegations at given times.
But not everyone thinks that the use of all these languages at the EU level is a good idea. The Lithuanian philosopher Gediminas Degėsis, a polyglot who speaks 12 languages, is convinced that Brussels needs just one.
Europe definitely needs to think about a common language. I have always said that we need one president, one army, and one language. I certainly do not want to suggest that I am in favor of suppressing national languages, but it seems to me that a common language would facilitate communication and save a lot of money.
But Bulgarian language teacher Alexander Dimitrov strongly disagrees.
I don't see how, for example, an Estonian, a Portuguese person, a Bulgarian, and a German are going to find a common language in which everyone feels equally comfortable and is able to communicate without any problems. We already have problems with English because it is not always sufficiently well spoken, let alone some other language in which all these nationalities would feel free to communicate. I think we are a long way from that, and it is important to preserve not only the big languages, but also the small ones, so that they can all be used and form part of Europe's cultural life.
And you, what do you think? My guess is that with tomorrow's technology, we'll all be able to speak our own language with real-time translation apps. Our next question may well be, will learning English be a thing of the past? Share your comments on our website www.euronetplus.eu. I'd like to say a big thank you to Nikos and Mariana from Sky, Radoslav from BNR in Bulgaria, Augustie at Radia in Lithuania, Robina at Radio Romagna, Aja from Radio 24, Esteban from Es Radio Castilla y León, Jean-Claude from Luxembourgish radio station 100.7, and Sina from German media AMS. We'll be back next time with our third episode on cultural topics, where we'll chat about how to protect our cultural heritage in the EU. Until then, take care.